Hey everybody, welcome back. So after my last couple of Fusion 360 videos where I have demonstrated the value of creating a list of parameters, when you want to begin a model, you measure the things you want, even if they're just guesstimates, and you go into Fusion to modify and change parameters and add user parameters, and you call them things like height, width, thickness, whatever makes sense to you that you can remember. You give them those names. That makes it, and you do that ahead of time. That makes it a lot easier from a design standpoint because all your measurements are already in there. You're not having to measure things or refer to a drawing as you go along. It also makes it easier to tweak your sizes after the model is done, because instead of going into each individual item and changing it, you have that nice list of parameters that you can easily pick out that inner diameter and just simply type in the number you want instead of a more difficult way. So people have asked me, well, what happens if I have a model that wasn't designed that way? If they did it the old-fashioned way where they just typed in everything as they individually in each step as they were going, how do I tweak and modify that? Or what if an author on Thingiverse was kind enough to provide a Fusion 360 file and he did it that way? How do I tweak it to make it fit what I want it to fit? Well, I'm in a good position to show you that today, because you're looking at my coffee mug shell and I need to change it because this flare at the bottom is too tall. It won't fit under my current coffee machine without, wiggling it in a hassle. So I want to cut the height of that down. And also I'm having to force, I don't know whether it's because I've tweaked the printer or whatever, but I'm having to force the cup into it too hard. So I want to make this inner diameter, which right now let's hit I and let's click on that. It is now 87 millimeters. I want it to be 87.5 or something along those lines. Now I could go into the individual things here like this flare. I could find it down here in the history, the extrusion. I could left click edit feature and I could change my height from 18 to 15. And that would work. Easily that would work. But there's another way to do it. Whether this other way is any easier or not, I don't know, but let's take a look at it. If we go to modify and change parameters, we'll see that while we have no user parameters, because I've never put any in, we'll see we have something called model parameters. And in model parameters, you'll see I have my coffee mug shell version 8 because I've tweaked this thing a lot. Now I'm tweaking it even more. You will see that Fusion has made parameters for us. As we go along the old-fashioned way, manually putting a dimension in each sketch or feature, Fusion makes these for us. Now, the names are going to be very generic. Sketch 1, Sketch 2, Sketch 3. So it's going to be harder to find things than if you had have named it outer diameter, wall thickness, things that made sense to you when you came in, but nonetheless they're still here. So this first thing called cylinder primitive, that's the cylinder that I started out with, the very first shape that I made, that I extruded into the 3D world to make this part. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to find my diameter here, 92 millimeters, and I'm just going to add a 0.5 on the end of that and hit enter. And let's say okay. Now let's go back and look at that. I wanted that to go from 87 to 87.5, right? So let's hit I to measure. Let's click on that inner ring surface. And you'll see over here the diameter is now 87.5. So I have my extra half a millimeter. Now this part here, which is 18, I want it to go to 15. So modify, change parameters. And I know, because I already looked, this is extrusion number 1. If I hit the little arrow to spread it out, you'll see the height of this along, and it gives a thing like a long distance. Who knows what that means? I do, because I've done this a bunch, but if you're just starting out, you're not going to know. That's the value of putting your own names in. Now, until you develop some intelligent naming convention, like I still haven't, I'm trying, but I still haven't, you might not know what you called things either. You might give it nonsensical names, but hopefully after you do this for a while, you will develop a convention to give it names that make sense to you later. So we're going to change this 18 to 15. We're going to hit enter and we're going to say okay. And now let's go look. We already checked our diameter. let's check this. So it's this first extrusion, edit feature, and you'll now see it's 15 millimeters high. I could have changed it right there, and actually in this particular part it would have been simpler because I knew they were two of my first three things I did. It would have been quick and easy, but this gave me a chance to show you guys the two different ways to do it. I hope this helped you out. I hope maybe this took away some of the mysticism of parametric modeling and how Fusion works with it, at least in a little way. And yeah, that's it for now. If you've enjoyed this video or I've helped you, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.